quite a number of panelists, and it's a very interesting topic that we're going to be talking about. The essence of the Youth Week. The future is now. I'm going to give us 1 more minute. That's a whole 60 seconds for those of us who are still coming in. You don't want to miss this. I'll say it in pidgin. You no one miss this. You no one miss this event. Our panelists are already gearing up. This is so exciting. The future is now. Innovation and technology. We have heard from the previous speakers how technology has advanced everything that we're doing. How, as an entrepreneur, if you want to be at the cutting edge, you want to be a game changer, then you need to embrace tech. It is very vital. It is the way forward. It is what has made the future that we talked about yesterday to be our very existence, our very reality right now. So please, let's settle in. Let's settle in. If you see no bag, no books, no carrier purse, anything on the seats in front of you, please just move. Do not hesitate. Just move. I'm pretty sure most of us are familiar with the we move phrase. Let's manifest it. We move. We move. We already have our panelists in the house. The answers are waiting for you. But there will be no answers if the people to ask the questions are not prepared. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you occupy the territory in front of you. Every vacant seat shall be filled, the way every valley will be exalted. And so please, I'm seeing a lot of very comfortable people. Please, just one more step to the front. One more step. There's still some seats yet to be occupied. I see you. I would love for you to move. This is the last phase. All right. Moving on quickly. Like I said, this is a very vital part of the career fair. We have had the master classes. We're equipped with new knowledge. Our axes are sharpened. We're about to take the future. The future is now. Maybe we've been sleeping because they told us yesterday that we are leaders of tomorrow. So it's upon us. That tomorrow that they spoke about yesterday, it is upon us now. Innovation, technology. If you do not embrace it, it's at your own peril. Like I said, if you want to run a business, you want to start something, you want to be an entrepreneur, and you do not embrace tech, it's going to be hard for you to be at the cutting edge of your game. It's going to be hard for you to move. And so we're going to be having a panel that would discuss this. Once again, I'm going to bring up the moderator for this session, none other than Mayowa Kuyoro. Please put your hands together. You can do better than that. This time around, we are not stopping till she's here. Yes, 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 yes. Every step you take will be applauded, madam. Please, we move. Come on, come on. It's getting low. The energy is getting low. The energy is getting low. Thank you very much.
Thank you for not making me feel awkward at all. Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, let me just take off my mask. We're the final session of our careers fair, and it has been a completely loaded event. So first of all, let me say thank you so much for your patience. I think we packed in a lot because we had a lot to give and we're running slightly behind time. So let me first of all say thank you very much for your patience. Let me also say thank you very, very much for your participation. It's been great seeing people engage with the various employers and the various speakers. It's been fantastic to see the preparation that you've all made. It is my singular honor and pleasure to be moderating this final panel on The Future is Now. Now, you're going to have to excuse me a little bit because I have some of my ogas on this panel. I have some of my uncles on this panel. So even though we're a career and we're all of that, we also have home training. So please, pardon me to call certain people uncle, pardon me to call certain people elder, because I cannot live what they taught me at home. So the first person that I would love to call on is Uncle Elder Idorayang Enang. Please come up on stage. Uncle ID is a wonderful, seasoned professional. You know, everyone says, oh my God, Mayowa, you are doing amazing. I'm really standing on the shoulders of giants. They have paved the way for us and shown us how to not compromise our righteousness and not say no to compromise in the business world. Welcome very much, Uncle ID. The second person I would love to call is a very dear friend of mine, Rolake Rosiji. She is the CEO of Jobberman, which is one of Nigeria's biggest tech platforms giving out jobs. So if you need a job, this is the person that you should come and see. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. Rolake, welcome. The third person I would love to invite on stage is my very madam at the top. Her name is Bolanle Asuma. She is the Director of People Africa for McKinsey and Company. Basically, if she's not happy, I don't get paid. So she's my very, very madam on the top. Please welcome Bolanle. Finally, I would love to welcome Mr. Femi Alabi, who is a partner at KPMG. Yes, I'm so sorry, sir. Ernst & Young. I don't have my notes with me, Ernst & Young. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. It's a pleasure to have you here. And then I don't see the final speaker. Suri, is he here? Okay, thank you very much. And the final speaker that is going to join our panel today is the CEO of Utwiva. I'm not sure they made the announcement yet, but they were very, very kind to say to us that they will sponsor 5 people on their learning programs that have participated in today's session. So please give a round of applause to Eitayo Ogumola, who is the CEO of Utwiva. Thank you so much. So the panel session on I think everybody has a microphone, great. So the discussion that we're going to have today, it's really looking at the future is now. All of you have very unique perspectives and very unique viewpoints on the future is now. We have a set of young individuals who are looking to shape what their future is going to be. I think Joba said it very, very nicely. We've been hearing, the future is tomorrow, the future is tomorrow, but actually the future is now. And that's actually even a very important statement for us because we call ourselves the now church. We take the old, we bring in the new, and we're now the now. So I'm going to ask you, first of all, in terms of your opening remarks, and maybe I start with you, Femi, just to talk about how young people who are entering into the job market and the career market today should think about really shaping a future that is ready for now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me today. For me, I think I will look at it from a three-pillar perspective. The first is discipline. You really have, put it aside. Discipline, focus, and patience. Or let me put it this way, perseverance. Because in your career as you start, there will be failures, right? There will be. But are you, patient enough and perseverance enough to be able to do what you need to do and continue at it? I think the number one for me will be discipline, because what differentiates you from the next person? Let me just say, maybe let's pick any job, any fantastic job, Coca-Cola or something, and I come here, I'm the CEO of Coca-Cola, and say, look, I only need 3 people, and I want to pick the 3 from this crowd. What will I do? And how will you present yourself? Now, the difference is you guys can, if I say we should do this assignment on a weekly basis, how many people can do it for 1 year straight? That discipline to continue at something, getting better. Because you see all of us here, we all learned at one point in time. We all started. We were all nervous. We all had our limitations. But with practice, with doing what is right consistently, you get to become who you are, and you get to differentiate yourself from the next person. And that is what people are looking for. That is what you should, strive for. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Femi. Bolale, you've had a very vantage role, sort of seeing the progression of people's careers and, both within our firm, but also outside. What are the characteristics of people who you seem to be successful in their careers? Can you speak a little bit to that as someone that a lot of people come and talk to you about their career development?
Thank you, Mayowa. So I think the biggest thing is your mindset. I grew up in a very big family, even though my mom only had one husband, but she had many of us. And what I found was that you were going to get what you fought for. And so I grew up hustling, even in my father's house. And the hustling meant if you did not grab your plate when you needed to grab it, you might miss that meal. And that spirit has lived with me till today. And what I find is that the people who are most successful are the ones who are hustling. If you wait for the food to be brought to you, you're going to go hungry. And if you're lucky someone has mercy on you, you eat the remnants. If you want to pick the fats in the food, you need to go for what you want. And that for me is the biggest differentiator between those who succeed and those who don't. Thank you.
Hustle till you make it. You've seen a lot of, people come to you for skills training and for sort of capability building. What are the sort of, if you're preparing for a now future, you're preparing for now, what are the kind of skills you think are absolutely important for young people to develop today?
Absolutely. So talking about the skills for the future is now, right? So let's talk about contextualizing the future in terms of the next 30, the next 40 years. What kind of skills should you be learning today? I'll talk a little bit about the soft skills, because I think this generation is just at the verge of abandoning the critical soft skills that will help us arrive in that future. Technology will not do the communication for you, so you better know how to communicate effectively. Sending emails, maybe Grammarly would help you edit them. Maybe the AI solution on Google would help you to make sure that you don't make the mistake. But Google will not help you get emotional when you need to be emotional. Google will not help you say, I'm sorry, when you need to say, I'm sorry. So you need to be very effective at communication. Another one is leadership. At a time where everyone is working remotely, the guy who knows how to spot when someone is emotionally down is better than every other person and can be trusted with leadership. When we are all on Zoom and you can put off your video so I can see your face, being able to read in between the lines and hear your voice when you are not emotionally sound is better leadership than every other person on the call. So make sure you don't miss those soft skills, because the future, 8.5 billion is spent in the US on artificial intelligence already. So AI is coming for you. You can't escape it. But artificial intelligence does not have leadership. It does not have emotional intelligence. It does not have, communication. So get those things right. But before I drop my mic, the future is interesting because of several reasons. Today, you can keep 3 jobs now. Most of us on this call, at one point or the other, just have only 1 job at a time. But in the morning, you can be a data scientist. In the afternoon, you can be a product designer. At night, you can be a cloud engineer. And it's an interesting future. I love it. So try and invest so much on learning at least 2 technology skills. One thing I can tell you for free is that maybe half of everyone in this room would have relocated in the next 5 years or 10 years maximum. Everyone in this room wants to Japa, right?
No, we believe in Nigeria in this church.
Okay. Okay, no brain drain. But between you and I, you know that you want to earn more, you want to be more, you want to explore more opportunities. So in the next 5 years, when you are in the coffee shop in Brazil, you will be working for a company in the US and another one in the UK and another one in Nigeria. Pounds will be rolling in, and then you can pay more tax, right? So we all want to be successful. But the future is about some technology skills, data science, product design, cybersecurity, cloud computing, artificial intelligence. Don't leave without having the skills. Even if you want to be a doctor, have a tech skill, so that by the time you go to the hospital in the morning, in the evening, you can be a cloud engineer and earn more. And that's what pretty much I think the future is about.
Being multi-talented, multifaceted, wrapping it around with soft skills. Thank you so much. We have one more panelist that I'm going to introduce. His name is Mr. Olaleko Shomorin, and he's the regional manager of Wemba Bank PLC, who have been one of our very, very kind sponsors. So please, may I invite Mr. Olaleko to the stage, please. Thank you. Well, okay, you have a very unique perspective on this topic. You have employers who come to you and tell you, we would like to hire X, Y, and Z types of individuals. Are there sort of any common skills or common themes across what they tell you they're looking for in whom they're trying to hire today?
Thank you, Maiwa. So happy to be here today. And you guys who are here this time, you're the ones that are very hungry. You're the ones that have the discipline, and you're the ones that are hustlers. So I really hope you take away a lot from today. Yes, at Jobberman, we're very privileged to get a lot of information about what are the jobs that employers are recruiting for. Employers come to us and they ask us to hire for them. So we're privileged to have this information of what are the jobs out there in Nigeria. Everybody is shouting 33% unemployment, but actually I still have a job, right? So there's still a business in recruitment, so there are jobs. So what do employers tell us that they're looking for? Eitai already mentioned quite a number of skills, and actually we partner with each other, Jobberman and Utiva, because technology is one of the areas that is growing in Nigeria. So those skills he listed, data scientist, UI UX designer, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, there are skills that are being recruited for in Nigeria that employers ask us to find. Sometimes we cannot find them. We'll start looking at people in India, start looking at people in other countries. So there is a skills gap in a lot of digital and technology skills. you can come to our website, jobberman.com. We list it out. We want you to go and read it, that there's a skills gap here. Therefore, go and train here. Don't train in the job that's 1,000 applicants for one job. Train where there's a gap. We also hear from employers. Let me give you a sector perspective. Where we get the most requests for jobs are in banking and financial services, telecoms, IT, and actually advertising as well. Okay, so those are some sectors where we get the most requests for people to come and work for them. But please, you can look at this report of the skills gap. We also have a skills gap report for the creative sector, and we're about to publish one in agriculture. Everybody thinks agriculture is just farming soil. Oh no, you actually, an agriculture business is like any other business. You need the same sales, marketing, leadership skills as you would in any other type of business.
Thank you so much, Rolake. I like what you said. Train for the gaps. Train for the gaps. I think that's quite profound. So as we think about making ourselves more marketable in the future, train for the gaps. Uncle Elga, ID. I think you have a wonderful perspective that I want to open up a little bit. So you've worked in industry, you've worked in corporate, and you're also an entrepreneur. Not everybody is cut out for a 9-to-5. So let me ask you, as someone who's been very successful both in corporate, but also in entrepreneurship, how do you make it? And I'm going to ask you to focus more on the entrepreneurship because we have a lot of people who talk about the corporate side. How do you be successful? Are these skills, the areas that people have mentioned, still relevant if you're trying to run and start your own business?
Thank you, Maiwa. It's a very thin line, I would say. From the little experience I've gathered so far, the single biggest factor is what my friend mentioned is discipline. Whether you're an entrepreneur or you're working for someone, if you lack self-discipline, you would not be able to go very far. But bringing it home, I think entrepreneurship calls for one thing: understanding the guts of the business you want to be. There's this halo effect. Many people tend to get into business or to do some sense of I'm providing value, but they never ask themselves the why. The critical question is, why am I in this? And when that why is answered, you're there. But typically, you must keep hitting on the whys till you exhaust the whys. Coming from that is one single tip. I hear everyone talking about training, upskilling. The truth is, a lot of people were trained last year by Zoom. Ask them what they're doing today with those skills. I bet you less than 10% are utilizing it. And I want to give you a simple tip. Volunteerism gives you everything you want. You need to throw yourself into the deep end of the pool. You either sink or swim, but I know that radical leap gets you into a space where you learn. So you buy, you borrow, and you build. That gives you capacity, because your capacity now tells to a large extent how much you're going to weather the storm. Because doing business in Nigeria is not cheap stakes. Trust me. By the time you escape FIRS, LRS is waiting for you, Lagos State is waiting, and then the local government man is coming to tell you your gate cannot. I mean, it's a whole bundle of stuff. If you've not been through that process and watched some other person navigate through that challenge with your self-discipline, the chances are you'll kick off, but you'll never hit the ball. And that's, I believe, is the bane of most entrepreneurs. They talk about funding, but they never talk about the mental side. Are you ready? Have you answered the why question? That's basically well.
Thank you so much. I'm reflecting a little bit about what, the answers have been so far. And, if I were to just do a small recap, I think it's clear that there is, first of all, you have to be disciplined, right? You absolutely have to be disciplined. And we've heard it from the first speaker, we've heard it from the last speaker. You also have to hustle, right? And don't, my friend always says, closed mouth don't get fed. The speaker at the beginning, and he said this, I'm very passionate about women because we're the ones that are always very shy. We don't want to raise up our hands. We don't want to volunteer ourselves for work because we don't want to be seen as pushy. But you can hear from the speakers here that telling us you absolutely need to hustle, right? And we have that grit in us as Nigerians. I think Nigerians, I always say, if you get to a wall, the Nigerian will find a way to dig through the wall to the other side. We don't stop. Absolutely hustle. And then the third thing that I'm just going to pick on what Uncle Heidi said is this concept of knowing why. What are you doing this job for? What are you doing this business for? What is the problem you are trying to solve? Again, I'm just going to tie it to something that was said earlier on. Whatever you do it well, do it as unto the Lord. Anyone that spends 1 or 2 minutes with me and asks me about my job, I tell them, and Bonale always laughs at me, I tell them this all the time. The reason I work as hard as I do is because I see that myself doing God's assignment here on earth. Do you have that sense of calling when you're thinking about what you want to do? And it could be whatever. It can be whatever it is you're doing, just make sure you do it well. I'm going to now ask Mr. Olalekon a question because we heard from Rolake that financial services is one of the big employers of labor in Nigeria today. From that perspective, if someone is looking to start a career in financial services, what do they need to have? How do they sort of get into and break into the industry, so to speak? I don't know if you have a mic. Fantastic.
I think I do. Thank you very much, Myra. In financial services sector, just like what I've mentioned, passion is very important because right from interview stage, you can see through you whether you have the passion for the job or passion at all. If you don't have passion, I come for the interview, have all the technical skill, nobody's going to take you. And you must stand out from the crowd. There must be something unique about you. Nobody wants to take average. If you're average person, you're not coming in. And you must have problem-solving capabilities. You must be ready to learn. And we ask a few questions, we know whether you want to learn or you have reached your plateau. And you must have energy. You must be persistent because there are instances, especially if you're in marketing, where customers say no. Do you have the capacity, to really show that customer why should buy your product, why should bank with you? Most times people don't bank or do business with you with your bank. They do business with you as a person. And they pass information across to you. And that's why you see a lot of marketers moving from one bank to another with that customer. Yes, some will stay back. But the long and short of it is that if you are creative, you have problem-solving capacity, you have self-discipline, and you lay emphasis on appearance. No matter how good you are, if you don't appear well, nobody's going to have a second. So as far as banking is concerned, because it's knowledge-based banking, but we know that if you are passionate, other people will train you. Because you don't need the most brilliant person to change the world. You need the most passionate person. Because for a passionate person, you pass the energy around to the point that other people want to help. That you don't want to have to be teach you how to be. And if you're open-minded, the attitude is good, you see people that will help you, to help you try your career. And the long and of it is, I said, most times you are very, very good. It takes very short time for you to determine what you want to do with your life. Because our kind of job prepare you for the future. You might meet a customer today and tomorrow you pick up something else. Receiving that today, quite a lot of them are ex-bankers. Go to oil and gas, a lot of them are ex-bankers because banking gives you that kind of discipline, exposure for you to see your potential and really lash on it. But if you don't have what it takes to even survive in banking, of course, you can't see the opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sorry, please hold the mic. I have a somewhat cheeky question to ask you. So we're a bunch of young people, and I count myself part of the young people sitting down here, thinking to ourselves, the future is now, the future is digital, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm interested in financial services. Should I think about starting in a quote unquote traditional bank, or should I go to one of the newer fintech companies that we have today? I would love to get your advice on that question.
Okay, well, the long and short of it is that even the fintech right on the back of the banking system, banking will remain the same, but banking practice will continue to change because it's evolving over the time. We started with the tally number. We moved to online banking. From online banking to digital banking. Now we want to do banking on the platform, on devices. And from our devices, we don't know where it's going to be. Today, we have fintech people that run, some run API, some run on USSD, some run on internet. There are a lot of platforms that can be used. So for instance, one of them run on API. And that API is used both for settlement, and for payment. And what they've done during COVID is to identify people have problems in making payments, getting delivery, logistic company, and all that. And they went up. They started with just a woman that had just about 30 motorcycles. Today, they have over 2,000 customers. When I say customers, as a direct customer, not indirect. And they attracted about $200 million of revenue. Those guys are less than 30 years old. And when you talk about the future, whether we like it or not, the future is actually in digital and internet or whatever.
I very much like your answer.
See, traditional banking will continue because those structures, fintech, they cannot run by themselves. That rely on our back. But as a bank or as banking institution, everybody's involved, trying to see. And the major problem is this: over 60% of adults do not have bank accounts in Nigeria. And when you go to places like Ijedodo, you can't see anything close to banking, and they need banking services. So where normal bank cannot get to, the fintechs and all that are doing it. And whether we like it or not, there's going to be space for them to provide. 220 million people, we don't have enough banks to serve 220 million.
We've already identified a problem that hopefully one of us here will be party to solve it. Thank you so much for your answer.
Now, let me be controversial. You know that we are not all going to be tech people. Because I listen to you guys, and that's not the person I am. In the place of the future, there's still a place for passion. I'm passionate about people, and that's where I'm going to be. The question is, how do we bring our passion to align with where the future is going? So for me as an HR person, whether I like math or not, whether I want to be a tech person or not, I need to work with data. So I have to go and learn data analytics for my HR job. The reason I'm saying this is that I'm sure for some of us as we are listening, we are saying to ourselves, this conversation is not for us. But we need to figure out where are we going to plug ourselves into with our passion in the future. So if I'm going to be a medical doctor, as someone said, what technology am I going to need in order to be the best doctor I can be? Because we all want to be in cloud, whatever it can see me, I'm so bad, I don't even know the technology. So again, let's figure out what our passion is and how it plugs into the future and what skills we need to learn today to start to get to it. Because we all will not be technological.
Thank you very much, Bonami. That's why I said she's my Oga at the top. Femi, please.
Yeah. I'm trying to add what you said about the why. I think it's so important and I'll explain, and it has helped me a lot. And I think it's applicable to the people looking at their career in the future, that it's always important to start with the end in mind. A lot of us, do trainings, exams, and we finish it, we're qualified, and we ask, why did I do this? Why did I spend, 5 years, 6 years, 2 months doing those things? I don't really like this. And so this is the best opportunity for you to say, you know what? I look around in the crowd. These are the people I like. These are the organizations I really like. Go and find out. You understand? Go and have mentors, and ensure that what do you do And what do I need to get to where you are, that maybe you are like 10 years ahead of me and all of that, and walk your way back. When you walk your way back, that gives you that sometimes, because we all get tired. You know, when you start something, it's tough, there are challenges. When you've done that, looking, at the end, that's what gives you that impetus to just continue. That I can see the end and I know what I will get from there, I will continue. And I think that's very important.
Thank you very much, Femi. You've touched on one word that is another very big passion of mine. So I absolutely have to go down that line of inquiry, which is on the concept of mentors. When I started my introduction of Uncle ID, I told you I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. I don't believe that, people say a man is an island, you're on this lonely walk. Personally, I don't believe that is the formula for success. I think you are a sum total of the people you have around you. So Uncle ID, I'm just going to ask you, I'm sure you saw this one coming. How, do you have mentors? And if you don't have, well, I'm sure you do, but if for people who don't have mentors in the crowd, because this is a question I get asked all the time, how do you go about sort of the process of getting and building a deep mentorship relationship?
Thank you, Mawa. Do I have a mentor? Yes. Do I have mentors? Yes. I have one sitting right in front of me, 12 o'clock. I didn't call any name, but just 12 o'clock.
Right, people wonder where I get my cheekiness from. Just saying.
But jokes apart, the little opportunity I had to share at the masterclass, I told everyone that cared to listen that I turned 55 in May, but I've been in this community, starting from the Lateran Assembly into the Citadel Global Community Church, 29 years. So take out 29 from 55, it tells you something. And my life, to the glory of God, has been shaped primarily by two men. The first half, my father, Asukwena, and Pastor Bakari, second half. And both are still running on the second half. But why have I started from there? I was at Guinness in 91, and I switched over to Lateran in 92. And I heard the message, you can win by righteousness. And it has stayed with me all the way, but I'll tell you, it's not been cheap stakes. And I hear my father's voice all the time, that what makes a man is his word and the things he said to me. Those two keep me running. But in the process of getting into the work environment, I ran into people who helped me fine-tune what the tuning forks that God has given to me through my biological and spiritual father, what they're doing continuously. So I had mentors at work at Guinness, who today refuses that I ever call him Oga, but I call him my friend. That was my boss. I have the likes of Sheni Adetu and Larry Drake from a corporate standpoint. Without mentors, you're just going to run a race where you're not seeing an experiential dimension of someone who will say to you, I've walked this path before. I know if you step into this arena, this is what will happen. And whenever you get hurt, and I've been hurt many times, and I run to my dad or I run to Pastor Bakari, there's that healing that comes because they've been there or they've seen, they understand it. It may not be your parents, it may not be your neighbor, it may be someone that God has put there as a tuning fork. So you need a mentor. Now, many people make the mistake of looking at it and calling a coach. And I'd like to quickly delve into that. I also have coaches. A coach is one who helps you move from point A to B. And he helps sharpen the competency. That is what you are showing people you have. A coach will manage it and tell you, ID, this is how we need to hit the ball if you want to score. But a mentor is more of an under-shepherd that takes you through that process. So I've had a lot. Now, how do you go about it? It's the same way when you locate your purpose in life. Almighty God, by His Spirit, will show you it's a spirit to spirit connection. It is not carnal. I can tell you, I am not here because I love to be with Pastor Bakare. I know it is a spirit to spirit connection. I felt it from the first day I stepped into Lateran Assembly, and it has never left me. So if you don't feel it, you can't understand it. I'm feeling here is that direct infusion by the Holy Spirit. Now it might be, how will I understand purpose? I didn't discover mine until far, far into the time when I now found out that, hey, this is what my life purpose is all about. So in a nutshell, mentors are critical, but be careful because your mentor can become your tormentor, like my boss, mentor, and pastor would say. Many people are Sauls. They don't like to see Davids. The day you know your mentor is a tormentor is the day he or she allows you, or the mentor is truly a mentor, when you are promoted above him or you're seen to be on the rise and he doesn't flinch, but rather supports you, that is a mentor. But if not, you have a tormentor waiting to do.
Don't let your mentor become your tormentor. Thank you so much. Well, okay, I'm just going to ask you one last question, which is, you are the leader of an organization, and you attained quite significant achievements. What is the one thing that you know now that you wish you knew at the beginning of your career journey? So what advice would you give to some of the young people sitting down in the audience today, including me?
Thank you, Maiwa. And I just want to thank you, sir, for that. That was very encouraging. I think I found some new mentors here today. Thank you. So what's one thing I wish I knew at the beginning of my journey? I think that people are very important. That's coming up a lot. Soft skills, people, not just technical skills, relationships. When you have that hustle spirit, you guys that are here now, you just want to go. And you may ruffle some feathers and offend people, and then you won't have mentors. You won't have people who want to pull you up. So I wish, my first job was with Ernst & Young. I was a graduate trainee in the UK, and I didn't do well. I did not. I wanted to do it my way, and I wasn't willing to learn. So I wish I knew that. And then I wanted to add, we've talked about mentorship, the importance of discipline, and the importance of being a hustler. One thing we have not really talked about is networking, which is interrelated with this. So when you want to be a hustler, you want to get these great jobs, you want to start your own business, remember to be bold. Remember to be bold in networking, in making connections. Since we are a church event, we're mixing here faith with business, but is interconnected, as we know. So as you are all people of faith, you know that, okay, this is my passion. This is the thing I want to do, that God told me I'm going to do it. Yeah. So use that same faith and know that God told that thing that he told you to do, you are able to talk to anybody about it. Nobody has two heads. We all started from the same place. So don't be afraid to reach out. Me, I have so many stories. I think Biowa does a lot of them, but like my first senior job, I applied to that job 3 times. And actually the first 2 times I applied to a level below myself because I did not believe in myself. I they didn't answer me. And I did some crazy things where I even found the person who would be my boss. I found his address. In Denmark. And I even, I sent a letter. I really believed that, okay, God has told me this. I didn't get the job, though. I didn't get it. But 6 months later, when I had now moved back to Nigeria, that company became my client. I was consulting for them. It was Dano Milk, the parent company. And they came to recruit me to be head of strategy for Africa. I was applying for some junior jobs in Europe, and they came to ask me to be put in a leadership position. So the conclusion of this story is, 1, believe in yourself, but it's also networking, because although they came to ask me, it wasn't because oh, they thought I was so good. There were many people as good as me and better. It was because when I was consulting for them, I had started to learn about people. So as I go to their office, hello, ma, hello, sir. Okay, this is the report. This is what I think. I built relationships. I got to know them, and I was very diligent and disciplined. You can never miss that out. But that relationship is what really helped me in that situation, and it continues to help me. And sometimes I forget it. So that's why I'm saying thank you, sir, for that reminder of the mentorship is very important.
Thank you, Rolake. Now I'm going to open up to the audience for questions, and I'll ask my able helpers, Joba, Suru, can you maybe help and see if there are anybody if there's anybody in the audience who has a question for the panelists. And I'm going to ask you to please keep it very brief and make it an actual question, please. Thank you. Any questions?
Raise your hand if you have questions.
Now we've heard don't be shy, closed mouth don't get fed,
Yes.
take advantage of opportunities,
You're not going to get answers if you don't ask the questions.
network.
All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Please
And I love
just
it's a woman. Thank you.
Introduce yourself and then.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ngobo Ifoma. All right, I would like to ask this question. It's been bothering me. Now, when you get to somewhere and then you know that there are some things you can do to help, and then the person you're trying to do it for tries to tell you you can't do everything. Should you continue? Because you have this passion of making people better. Thank you.
Who wants to take that question?
We can talk a bit about that. When you find yourself in such a situation, one of the key skills you need to bring on is your persuasive skill. You are very persuasive and you're very genuine in your intention. I'm sure that person will give you a chance to prove yourself.
What I will add is in any organization, in any work you find yourself, there is a structure. That statement you made that you can't do everything is critical. So it's also a double-edged sword in the sense that if you've not done the assignments that you were given and you want to help someone else, that in itself is a problem. And so you need to understand the first principle that there is a structure here. I need to do what I've been assigned, complete it, then have sufficient time to be able to help. That is when it's really appreciated more and is accepted. But in a situation where you haven't done your part, but you say, oh, I can help this person, and you leave the assignment that you have been given because you're really passionate, you might get it wrong and it might work against you.
Any other questions? We probably have time for one more. I see one more there.
We have more than one more.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
we'll be taking two more questions, and please keep it brief. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kemi Sola. I learned a lot from what you all said, but you never spoke anything about the educational sector. I've heard banking, I've heard finances, I've heard agriculture, I've heard networking and acquiring skills. I just want to ask, what about the educational sector? There is no networking, or is there any additional skills you can have as a teacher? Because everybody is just talking about the high-flying profession, doctors, medicine, engineers. But I believe if we want to be fair, everybody should have a share about this. Educational sector is important, but nobody's saying anything about it. I just want to ask, is there any way what you have said can be applied to the educational sector? Thank you.
Just going to talk about that because I'm a teacher myself. I mean, I've taught all my life. I left university and I started teaching. Maybe in the secondary school. I think that we need quality teachers, right? I mean, my team just started a new product that is called Creativa Kids. The idea is to help children to learn technology skills. But this is a premium. What I mean by premium? Premium in the sense that we're looking for high quality trainers that can deliver good learning programs to these children. But that is very hard to find. Very, very hard to find. And if you listen well, a couple of things that have been said here, we don't have teachers that are passionate about teaching. We have teachers that are accidental teachers. You leave university, there's no job, you don't have a choice, you just have to teach. When we find teachers that are passionate about teaching, quality teachers that really want to teach, what we find out is that it's easy for them to find their way up to the top because you can't hide passion. I think it's Matthew chapter 5 that says you can't light a candle and put it under a washer. So one of the things I would encourage teachers to really do is to redefine their passion. If you love children, I mean, I'm looking for people like that can help me manage these kids because we are going to have a lot of them that are learning technology skills. And you know the way kids are, right? You can have the software and everything. You still need teachers that can mentor them, that can guide them. So redefining that passion is very important. But number two that I think is super, super important is that as a teacher, you need to keep brushing your skills up. You need to do that every time. Brush yourself up. Monica talked about networking. As a teacher, you get here and then you meet people and you're like, hi, my name is this, I'm a teacher. I actually help kids become better at this and this. You'll be surprised the kind of opportunities you will find because not many teachers have that capacity to get to a place like this and meet high-class people and introduce themselves and show a level of quality. You understand what I mean? And the final thing I will touch on is technology again. Technology again. The educational sector will be redefined by technology. So think about if there is another stronger wave of COVID, God forbid, that we get into another stronger wave and we have to shut down for 2 years. And we all have to, and don't tell me it's not going to happen.
Isaiah, what's wrong with you now? First of all, you say we want to leave Nigeria. Now you're talking about leaving COVID. Now, wow.
I'm just doing some risk assessment, And one of the things I've seen is that if the world doesn't change, things changes, things move us. It might not be COVID. It might be a new dynamics of attitudes. Kids just want to learn online. The teachers that understand the new patterns of technology will win. Those that know how to mentor children, virtually, that can guide kids to use technology well. And I'm not talking about cloud here. I'm not talking about going to be spoken. I'm not saying cloud and artificial intelligence. I'm saying teachers that can mentor kids on the right things to watch online. They are the ones parents will call when their children are watching the wrong content. This is not cloud. This is not data science. This is mentoring on the right content to watch. Hey, totally, you can't watch this content. If you actually follow this person on Instagram, you will turn out to be this. But if you now giving the child options of the right types of people to follow on Instagram, that is not cloud. That is just mentoring on technology. And these are the things we need to expose our teachers to. But I think teaching is a nice profession. I mean, I'm a teacher myself, and I'm never going to leave education. I used to tell my staff that it's a do or do affair for me for education. This is my final bus stop because I have identified my passion, and this is where I want to end my life, education. In fact, that's the reason I'm running into government, going to government because I want to fix education. And I think we need more people that are just passionate about learning.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very
Can I
much.
just add, please, we actually have a lot of jobs for teachers on our website. So please, if you are a teacher, come online. Yeah.
Thank you very, very much. See, there you go. Closed mouths don't get fed. You got 2 job offers just by asking your 1 question. Thank you so very much. And on that note, I would like to say a heartfelt, huge thank you and deep appreciation for all of our wonderful panels. Haven't they been absolutely amazing? Please let's give our hands together for our panelists. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. Sorry, before you leave, we're just going to give you a little token of our appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please put your hands together again for them. Have you been well fed? Have you been well fed?
I'm breaking protocol. I just want to say one thing and to leave this statement with all of you. And you should keep asking yourself that question. What will I do if I was not afraid? Yes. If I'm not afraid, what will I do? Focus on that question and you will see it to change a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think that is very, very important. I'll say it in pidgin so it will strike home. If fear not a cash, if you know the reason say person go do you anything, wait till you go do. And I think with that in mind, you'll be surprised, you'll be amazed at the options available to you, the things that you would be able to do and to create. If fear not catch you, wait till you go do. Begin doing those things. Thank you so much. Please, after this round of photographs, we're going to call up Pastor Bakare and Mrs. B to join us on the stage, to join the panelists on the stage for a photograph.
You can do better than that. Come on, guys.
Make it louder. Exactly. Make it louder and keep it coming. Keep it coming. Thank you again. Thank you again. Please keep clapping for them. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sirs. Thank you, Maz. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Mayowa, for moderating this session. It has been wonderful. It's been a wonderful day. How many people agree? You know my answer is not yes. I need to hear that. Whoop, whoop. How many people agree? Louder. How many people agree? Let's do it. I can't hear anything from this side. Is it panning? All right, so we're going to do this again. How many people agree that it's been a wonderful day? All right, now y'all talking. All right, thank you very much once more for your patience, your time. It has been a blessing to me, and I believe it has been a blessing to us all. So I'm going to call up Pastor Shegun Bakare to just say a more generous thank you. Please give him a whoop, 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 whoop.
Good evening, everyone. Hope we're all doing well. I've learned a lot personally from all the sessions, but mostly what's that last part that Mr. Femi, I believe, said. If you are not afraid, what would you be doing? Now, I'm going to twist that a little bit quickly, and I want to say, okay, I'm going to say, John was in prison, and his disciples, he sent his disciples to Jesus. And he asked Jesus, well, he sent word to Jesus and said, are you the Messiah or is another coming? Well, if you don't catch me, I will not be standing here. So my father is sitting down here. I'm going to ask him to come up here and do the vote of thanks because he cannot be sitting down while I'm standing here. So please, the father of the house is here. Let's hand over to him quickly, and then we can close this program. Thank you all.
Will I ever retire? Since all they want me to do is vote of thanks, it's a lot easier to do that. Let me, from the bottom of my heart, thank everyone, the resource persons, everyone of them, and the audience for such a live, enriching moment. I sat down there and I was thinking of the night I left home to come to Lagos. My mother wept all night. I'm an only son between my father and my mother. I had other siblings, but not same father, same mother. My mother wept, said, you're going to Lagos to suffer. And I said to her, Mama, I would rather suffer now and come back richer and better to be a blessing to you than to stay here and die in acute poverty. She gave me 1 shilling. That's for 20 kobo today. And a man in our neighborhood just got married. Later became a large for Sansi, but it was just enough for Sansi. Gave me 3 pence. And with that 15 kobo, 1 shilling, 3 pence, I headed for Lagos with the address of my oldest brother's residence in my hand. I didn't even know how to pronounce the street well. I saw people standing and I asked them where Hugues Avenue was. And they laughed and laughed and laughed. I said, what is Hugues? I showed them the address. They said, it's not Hugues, it is Hughes. I said, just show me. Thank you for teaching me the right pronunciation. When I heard my was saying, you have to puzzle, I see an entire generation with an entitlement mentality wants everything done for them. And it scares me to death. I can jump to the end of the story. but you will not see the process that comes before progress. What's the end of the story? 35 years after, I went back and built an 8-bed house for the man who gave me 3 pence. And I call it return on investment. I built for my mother before that time. My son had that story and took his camera to go get the man and to get whether it was true or false. Jacob was in the house of Laban. And in Genesis 31, the sons of Laban became envious and they said, out of our father, this man called Jacob had gotten all his wealth. What were the sons doing? I won't stop talking about my mom till I pass on because she taught me industry. She taught me how to save and spending. The first joint signatory account I ever had was with my mom. It was not at your bank. It was a wooden box with 2 padlocks. I kept one key, she kept the other key. I would go do all kinds of jobs and chores to earn money. And I was earning about 2 shillings every day to keep in that box. I couldn't open it behind her. She couldn't open the box behind me. But anytime school fees was due, she would open it and we had enough. That was how I went to secondary school. She was training me on how to save. I remember my son saying many years after, because he happened to have a glance into my account in the US, he said, I don't know how any man can go to saving money like this to be going up and is not taking out of it. He didn't realize that I was saving it for their school. Because all of the 5 of them went to university in the US without any scholarship. But there was no time, there was late in payment. Friends, what am I trying to share with you? Listen to this last one. And I hope you will know this one. Telling you that hustling is not, is unavoidable if you're going to make it big in life. I graduated from the University of Lagos. Most of my classmates did not know I was doing daytime job on weekends with Ganify me and washing plates at night at Oasis Hotel as a student in the university. Because I was self-sponsored. And when I graduated, my mother was coming to celebrate me. I'll tell you 2 stories now. Thank you. And I'll say, go home and think. The future belongs to those who plan for it today. Today is the tomorrow you were talking about yesterday. And time will continue to go like that until you suddenly find you are 60, you are 70 and say, what did you do with your time? Here comes my mother. She got to, can I come down? I usually don't like to stand far away from people. She got to the junction of the University of Lagos about Macaulay. And she saw a long queue of vehicles and she wanted to be there on time. She was bringing a crate of Coke to celebrate with her son. And she put the Coke on her head. And she walked all the way. Just as we were filing in, my mother showed up with a crate of Coke on her head. The son of who is who was in front of me, and the son of who is who was behind me. Their fathers came in Mercedes-Benz and all kinds of cars. And there comes my mother with a crate of Coke. I had a choice to make. To look like I don't know her from anywhere, had to run towards her. I ran towards my mother, took the crate of milk and put it aside. I said, this is your labor. Let's go in. You might not hear a word of what they will say there, but make eye contact with me when they're make eye contact. I celebrated my mother and my industry that day and did not turn my back on her. But she didn't look the occasion at all that she produced me. She labored. I am what I am by the grace of God and the input of that woman who raised me from the age of 3 till I left home at 19. And from age 19, the only contribution I had from any person on planet Earth was 5 naira from my mother. And she came to see me in college. I wonder when I see your generation, what you're doing with your hands, and with all the talents and all the available things at your disposal, waiting for someone else to help you make it. This, my hands are provided for my necessities, Paul said. Is there something you need to wake up and do with your life so that you not be part of the mistake generation? I graduated from college, second story, and my older cousin, Mr. Esu Molina, was a company secretary for Total, Nigeria Limited. And he already has a large deputy who was the HR person. To, for me to go to meet him for an interview, got to his presence, ticked all the boxes and said, fantastic. And a job was offered. In the job offer, my salary monthly was to be something about 8,600, if my memory serves me right, per month, minus housing, minus medical, minus car rental or car loan after 6 months and everything. And I was glad. I got home overnight and there was a conviction in my spirit. Is this what you want to do? I said, no. I studied law in order to practice law. So I wrote a note to my Egmont, my professional life with a Zoom fusy edges. If I would sit behind the desk and be writing opinions, I really want to practice law. Please, I will have to turn down this job. I went back to Ghana Family Chambers who employed me and paid me 400 naira a month. When I brought my pay slip home, my one left Lagos to go and tell my mother, somebody had cursed your son. I'm asking you, what's in your heart? What do you want to do? Want to hear the rest of the story? One day, my Edmond retired and came home to me. My niece was going back to school. They've shut down universities in Nigeria. She wanted to go to Buckingham University and said, he had retired by this time. He said, your niece would like to go to England and retire, and I don't have resources to pay. Here is my house documents, so you can hold it until I'm able to pay. And I gave it back to him and said, you don't need to. What you didn't understand that day is what you're seeing now. Would have been in the same situation and I would not be able to help. But I followed my passion. And I told my niece, all things paid. Do you understand me? What's in your heart? I was talking to my daughter a few days ago. I said, Fisayo, follow your heart, follow your passion. You have studied interior architecture. If that's not where you're going, you found out what you want to do, go for it. I will be the man carrying the crate of coke in my head to cheer you on. I want to appeal to you by the mercies of God. Don't leave this place without a decision. Don't wait till tomorrow and say, I'm still confused in my mind. Start where you are and let God begin to help you. Let me close with this thought. Radical, but you better believe it. There's no verse of scripture. You can study from Genesis to Revelation where God promises to give you money. He doesn't. Proverbs 10 will tell you the blessing of the Lord makes rich. What it gives is a blessing. How you turn that blessing to riches is your own. It's one that gives you power to get wealth. What it gives you is power. What you use it to obtain is wealth. Look through the entire Bible. You won't find one phrase, one text of scripture that says God will give you money. You know where the problem lies? You look at the ungodly, you look at the West, and you see massive wealth. You know God, you know Jesus. You have nothing to show for it, but God is going to give me power to get wealth. He's giving you power, but you're still broke because you're not following the principles, though you know the person. What did they say it will do for you? It will open the eyes of your understanding. The eye is the window to the body. When he says, I will open the windows of heaven, he said, I will enlighten your eyes of understanding. Creativity will be your portion, and the whole world will make a beating part to your doorstep. Let me round up with my mom. She didn't go to school. She had no college education. But do you know what she taught in universities? My mother left the shores of Africa to go to America, to several universities, including Bloomington, Indiana University, to show how Africans made their clothes before Europeans came. Do you understand me? That's why I followed you to your room, because you're into fashion, to see another, my mother type, who will use their hands and what God has given them to create wealth. In our old age, even after our centenary anniversary, it was my wife and my two daughters who went to get plaques for her that they gave to her at the Institute of International Affairs for our industry and our labor in that regard. May whatsoever you lay your hands upon prosper. May God think through your thoughts and speak through your vocal cord. And may He grant you the desires of your heart. In the mighty name of Jesus. I'll see you at the top. Take all you have heard here today, take it with you, and put it into use. I was born a child. I was raised a boy. I became a man, that I would die an institution. And many generations will be studying. How did God bring me from obscurity into prominence? The same thing He did for David. It's the same thing He's done for all. He's ready to do it for you. The question is, are you ready? Thank you for such a wonderful time. Go with God. Go with God. And honestly, the sky is no longer the limit. The throne room is. Because God is able to show you. I thank God for those who are not living this country. Where is that guy that I was talking about living? I can't see him anymore. Is he still here? You will prosper in this land. Everything that I've gotten is in this land. Do you understand? Everything. Everything. Family lived for 12 years abroad. 6 years in the UK, 6 years in America. I was with them every month of those 12 years. Every month. And I was here. This is where the root is. I do not know any other nation you can prosper with little like Nigeria. Don't be deceived. Don't be deceived. Don't go and serve the God of bills abroad. What you get from the swing, you lose on the roundabout and vice versa. This Nigeria is a land of those who are going to determine what will happen in the end time. Thank God for mentors. Thank God for people like those who had spoken this week. I was listening to her, listening to her. I said, I don't have anything to add to this. I felt a little butterfly on the inside of me, like my first time of preaching in America. I saw the big giants. And then I was in the middle of them with, you remember this room? I said, what am I doing here? I was butterfly. When I opened my mouth to speak, I didn't know I was on satellite. It took me to 21 states of the US. Just one message. The whole world is yet to see what God will do with you if you're totally yielded to Him. Get ready to run with God. He will prosper all the works of your hands. God bless you. I'll see you at the top.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. And with that, we have come to the end of the event, the career fair. Please put your hands together one more time for every one of our panelists, every speaker, every resource person, the organizers, and yourselves. Please put your hands together one more time. God know they do give away. God know they do give away. That's what Pastor just told us. So find your way and just go all the way. God know they do give away. Do you understand? Please take everything you have heard here today and apply. Don't be like those who attended Zoom trainings in the COVID year last year and have not done anything with the knowledge they acquired. Take the knowledge you have acquired from the master classes, from the fireside chats, from the panel discussions, and make sure that by the next time you are assembling and you are seeing your neighbors, you are leaps and bounds ahead of where you are now. That will make us very happy. So by the time we're doing this next year, we're doing it for another set of people. And you can go on to replicate yourselves in other people as well. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you. Good night.